weekend, we have a very powerful gospel. It's always been powerful to me. It's one that's ripe for meditation. It's one that can be a little chilling sometimes. It's one of the only moments like this that I can think of in the Gospels where you get Jesus inviting someone almost to become like another apostle, like to be united very closely. It almost sounds like he's calling him into the inner circle. But this time, this person refuses. And so I just draw our attention to a couple of things in this passage, like what makes it unique. This man comes to Jesus, so clearly he's seeking something. And at rock bottom, what we're all seeking is, how do you describe it? Peace, like meaning, happiness, fulfillment, that thing that we're always pursuing in life. And this man is pursuing it. And evidently, let's assume that he's doing it in an honest, serious way. Like Jesus says to him, well, you know what you have to do. You follow the commandments. And he lists off the commandments, and the guy says, yeah, teacher, I've been trying to follow those. Like, I understand that part. I've been seeking to do that. But my heart is still seeking something. There's something still missing. And then in this powerful line that, again, I can't think of like an immediately comparable one in the Gospels. It says, Jesus, looking at him, loved him. So like Jesus sees what he desires, and he knows exactly what he needs. And Jesus says, you are lacking one thing. Go, sell what you have, give to the poor, you'll have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. And then it says, at that point, the guy's face falls, and he goes away sad, for he had many possessions, it says. So what exactly is going on here? Well, the emotions are sometimes a signal of what's going on inside of someone. This man is seeking happiness, which is good. It's what we're all seeking. And our happiness will be found in God. So actually, he comes to the right place. Sadness is an emotion that God gave to us when he made humans. And it's actually an okay emotion. It's a good emotion. Every emotion is good if used in its right place. And the emotion of sadness, what Thomas Aquinas tells us it's for, is to be able to expend energy to mourn a loss of a good with someone else. So it's okay to be sad when we lose a good. That's why it's very natural, obviously, and very okay, even as a Christian who has hope in eternal life, to be sad if we lose someone we love. Like, that's okay. Death wasn't supposed to happen. So when we experience the loss of that good, sadness is a natural reaction. And it's an okay one, because it's okay to mourn the loss of a good. But here's the key thing. If this guy's face falls when hearing, you have to sell everything and come follow me, then in this man's heart, somehow, what he is perceiving is that he is losing a good. What he is perceiving is that somehow the possessions are better than Christ. And so if I have to give them away, then the reaction is like the sadness, springs up. And that must be a sign that somehow in his heart, in his mind, the possessions are a greater good than God. Thomas Aquinas says that another kind of definition of sin is a desiring of created goods over the ultimate good, which is God. So anytime our heart pursues another created good, gives more precedence to it than God, it doesn't mean we can't have created goods. You understand that, right? God gave us created goods to enjoy. And God gifts us with created goods in our life. And that's not bad. But if ever we start to cling to a created good, that maybe we see in a natural kind of way God is asking us to give up. We have to trust him above the created good. And in this man's heart, that wasn't there. So sadness overcomes him at this idea of having to give up stuff to follow Christ. And so the reflection for you and me today, I think, is just a very simple one. To say in prayer, either here during Mass today as we're preparing to receive the ultimate good, the Eucharist, or sometime during this week, to sort of, ask Jesus to reveal to me if I have a kind of disordinate sadness at the idea of losing any kind of earthly good. If I have a certain kind of clinging in my heart to either a thing or even a person above Jesus, that if Jesus were to take this thing or this person or whatever, from me, how would my heart react? It's okay to be sad at the loss of a good, and yet the heart should then still be able to turn to Jesus to seek its joy. And here, Jesus was inviting the man into him, and that's what gave him sadness. And so it's almost like sadness can be used as like a litmus test in our life to see what does our heart cling to. Sloth is the sin where the heart is sort of sad around the idea of having to do holy things. And I read one writer recently who was saying sloth is a particular sin of our day and age. We have a slowness of heart, almost a sadness of heart about doing holy things. So if I notice that in my life, it's worth just asking Jesus, Lord, remove whatever those obstacles are in my life so that I can rejoice. More than likely, everyone in this church at some point in their life has had a moment when they looked forward to prayer, looked forward to something holy. Maybe it was your first communion. Maybe it's coming to Mass on Sunday. Maybe it was a homily that really stirred your heart. Maybe it was a retreat you took once. But at some point, we experienced joy at a thing that Jesus was directly doing in our life. And we can ask Jesus today, Lord, give me that again. I want to be able to experience joy, Lord, in you, in holy things.